Breaking news! Things are heating up behind the scenes in Baltimore, and I have some important updates to share with you. But before we continue, be sure to hit the like button if you can't wait to see our Ravens on the field. And if you're a diehard fan, leave a comment saying, "Go Ravens! This is our season." Let's get to it, because the projected 53-man roster after the 2025 NFL Draft looks spicy. First, the Ravens made 11 draft picks and signed 18 undrafted free agents. That's 29 new faces entering training camp, and they still have $12.34 million in cap space if they want to add a veteran or two. The quarterback cap space is exactly what you'd expect. Lamar Jackson is the #1 quarterback, and newly signed Cooper Rush steps in as the backup. That was a smart move. Rush has proven he can win games when needed, something the Ravens didn't trust last year with Josh Johnson or Devin Leary. Cooper won't set the world on fire, but he brings solid experience and poise, which is exactly what you need if Lamar has to miss time. In the backfield, Derrick Henry leads a bruising running back group, backed up by Justice Hill and the electric Keaton Mitchell. The team is expected to carry 5 running backs plus fullback Patrick Ricard. The wild card here is Rashid Ali, a promising rookie who might just edge out competition from undrafted back Sony now from Monmouth. Don't sleep on now. If he shines in camp, he could force a tough decision. Wide receiver is shaping up to be a strategic group. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and DeAndre Hopkins are locks. Tylan Wallace and Devontae Walker are predicted to round out the 5-man crew. Walker gets the edge over rookie Legendi Wester, primarily due to size. At just 163 pounds, Wester is almost identical in frame to Flowers. While his playmaking is intriguing, carrying 2 small-bodied receivers might be a luxury the Ravens can't afford right now. Still, if he flashes in the preseason, the pressure will be on. At tight end, the room is stacked. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and Charlie Kolar. Here's where things get really interesting. This could be Andrews' last ride in Baltimore. The team was reportedly open to trading him during the draft, asking for a 3rd-round pick. No one bit, and they'll now wait for a 4th-round compensatory pick when he likely walks in free agency next year. This feels like a farewell tour unless Andrews has a season so dominant that the Ravens have no choice but to re-sign him. On the offensive line, the projected starting 5 from left to right includes Ronnie Stanley, Andrew Voorhees, Tyler Linderbaum, Roger Rosengarten, and Morgan Moses. The depth pieces include Ben Cleveland, Emory Jones, Garrett Dinger, and Carson Vincent. Nick Samak, a center drafted in 2024, could be the odd man out. The team may also look to bring in a veteran for added insurance, knowing how injury-prone the line has been in past seasons. Now flipping to defense, the D-line features breakout candidate Brick Washington, Travis Jones, and Nami Madik. Rookie Niles Peels and undrafted free agent Nash Hutmacher, nicknamed the Polar Bear, round out the group. At nearly 300 pounds and a former wrestler at Nebraska, Hutmacher could turn heads in camp. The Michael Pierce retirement hurt this unit's depth, but there's potential for surprise impact. Linebackers are led by Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson, and rookie Teddy Buchanan. Undrafted Chandler Martin is another name to circle. He's got elite instincts, speed, and motor, and he plays exactly how DC Zach Orr likes his linebackers, fast and physical. The outside linebacker group includes Kyle Van Noy, Ode Foa, 2nd-round pick Mike Green, Adissa Isaac, and Tavius Robinson. This could be the end of the road for David Ohabo. Injuries and underperformance might have sealed his fate, especially after Robinson outsnapped him by over 100 plays last season and made significantly more impact. In the secondary, Marlon Humphrey and Nate Wiggins headline the cornerback group, with Chidobe Awuzie, TJ Tampa, and Ball Cone competing for final spots. This group could be surprisingly solid if Awuzie stays healthy. Safety might be the team's best position group overall. Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, and A.R. Darius Washington form what might be the best trio in the NFL. Add to that 6th-round pick Robert Longerbeam, Bo Brad, and Sanusi Kane, 2 players who have potential to break out in their second seasons. Now let's talk special teams, and buckle up, because this could get controversial. Tyler Loop was drafted as a kicker, joining punter Jordan Stout and long snapper Nick Moore. This signals the potential end of an era. Justin Tucker might be on his way out. The Ravens have hinted for months they might draft a kicker, and now that it's done, the writing might be on the wall. Tucker wasn't at his best last year, and with a younger, cheaper option on the roster, the team may be preparing to move on. It's hard to imagine the Ravens without Tucker. He's a future Hall of Famer and possibly the greatest kicker in NFL history. But this is a business, and the winds of change are blowing. That's where we'll pause it for now. But I want to hear from you. Do you think Justin Tucker will still be a Raven when September rolls around? And more broadly, what do you think about this projected 53-man roster? Who are you most excited about? And who do you think might not make it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Look, Tyler Loop's selection in the NFL draft didn't come out of nowhere. Baltimore hinted for months that they'd bring in a kicker, but the fact that they actually spent a draft pick on him says a lot. This isn't a camp body. This is a serious move aimed at replacing a legend. Justin Tucker, arguably the greatest kicker in NFL history, is now in the crosshairs. And while that's going to ruffle feathers in the fan base, the truth is that Tucker had a down year. Add that to his contract and age, and you start to understand why the front office is preparing for a potential changing of the guard. It's a storyline that Ravens fans need to keep their eyes on, especially as training camp kicks off. If Loop shines and Tucker struggles or looks even slightly off, we could be witnessing the end of an era. It won't be easy to watch, but it's the nature of the business. This team is thinking about long-term sustainability, cap space, and performance, not nostalgia. That said, it'll take more than just a decent preseason for the team to justify cutting ties with Tucker. But the door is open. Now let's zoom out and consider the broader picture of this roster rebuild. What stands out is the aggressive infusion of youth. Between the 11 draft picks and 18 undrafted free agents, this is a front office determined to reset key areas with young, fast, and physical players. That means some veterans, guys who fans have grown attached to, are going to be pushed out. The roster turnover is going to sting in places, but it's also going to bring a lot of energy and competition to camp. When John Harbaugh and Eric DeCosta talked about retooling, they weren't kidding. One example, the wide receiver room. It's got a new look, but it's also on the edge of transformation. If someone like Lejetti Wester flashes in preseason, he could force the team to keep 6 receivers or push someone like Tylan Wallace off the roster. That's how close these competitions are. Devontae Walker is in the mix because of his size and full year of experience, but that margin could vanish quickly if Wester becomes unignorable. The linebacker group is another area where youth might dominate. Chandler Martin, an undrafted rookie, is playing with a chip on his shoulder and the type of explosiveness that DC Zach Orr loves. If he continues to impress, he might not just make the team, he could fight for real rotational snaps. The same goes for Teddy Buchanan, a mid-round pick with all the tools to become a contributor early. This team is clearly grooming its next generation of linebackers, and they're not wasting time easing them in. But the edge rusher battle may be the most brutal. With Odefoa, Mike Green, Kyle Van Noy, Adissa Isaac, and Tavius Robinson expected to be in the mix, someone has to go, and that someone might be David Ohabo. Injuries have defined his career thus far, and the Ravens may not be willing to wait any longer, especially after investing a premium pick in Mike Green. Green is being touted as a potential Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate. His block? 7 sacks. That's not just hyperbole, it's a high-end expectation, and it's exactly the kind of impact this defense needs. Speaking of high-impact rookies, let's go back to Malachi Starks. Taking him in the first round was a huge win. Pairing him with Kyle Hamilton and Darius Washington gives the Ravens a modern, hybrid safety trio that can do it all: cover deep, hit hard, play nickel and disguise coverage. Add Robert Longerbeam, another rookie with intriguing potential, and suddenly Baltimore has the most versatile secondary in years. That's no exaggeration. With the right packages, this group could neutralize elite tight ends, confuse quarterbacks, and turn defense into offense with turnovers. And yet, there are still some questions. What happens if the offensive line takes a hit mid-season? Will the team use the remaining $12.34 million in salary cap space to bring in a veteran? Will Mark Andrews' presence in 2025 be a distraction or a rallying point? And perhaps the biggest wild card of all, how much longer will this team keep Marlon Humphrey as its starting cornerback? He's a star when healthy, but these persistent injuries and a growing class of young cornerbacks could start to change that narrative sooner rather than later. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you never miss an analysis like this. Go Ravens!